ladies and gentlemen, and my august audience, number one, let me take this opportunity to say World Tourism Day just happened. It happened on the 27th of September. I consciously did not want to clutter the whole space because there were so many beautiful things happening on Tourism Day that day. And, you know, it's an appeal. It's an appeal that tourism industry needs to survive. Tour operators, travel agents, the entire fraternity of tourism is a force to be reckoned with. So together, I think we can all work in harmony to build tourism back again. Remarkable.com has taken an initiative. When I started this, I was only clear one thing, that I want to speak of stories of sense and not sensation, of stories which are not necessarily on newsworthy, but also noteworthy. While I started this journey, I've met some beautiful people on the way. And as they say, if your mission is clear, you get those beautiful people along with you in this journey. And it's a fact. When I was thinking of doing something special back again on tourism and moving away a bit from just mental health, this was the perfect combination for me. Wellness, mental health, and tourism. Wellness tourism, ladies and gentlemen, in my eyes, is not an option anymore, but it's an obligation. COVID has shown us the picture, the true picture of what life is all about. It showed us relationships, it showed us our own reflections, it showed us our own mind, emotion, body, all put together. Before we move on into our conversation, I would like to do a bit in honor of my August panel. What a panel for wellness, ladies and gentlemen, what a panel. We have Mr. Venkatesan Dattairan, the Regional Director, Deputy Director General, Minister of Tourism, Government of India. He joined the organization in 1991 as a tourist information officer. He was engaged in destination marketing since 2004 with an active role in North and South American markets. He specializes in marketing and developing niche tourism products. In his present capacity as Regional Director, Mr. Venkatesan handles matters relating to implementation of Government of India programs and policies for promotion of tourism in the Western and Central regions in coordination with state tourism departments and stakeholders. Mr. Venkatesan, I know it's going to be short, but thank you, really thank you for being part of this discussion. Our next panelist and our guest, it's an honor, Shri Subodhji Tiwari, it's an honor. Thank you so much. The CEO of Kaivalya Dham. Subodh Tiwari was born at Kaivalya Dham, Lonavala, and nurtured into the spiritual realms of yoga. As the CEO of Kaivalya Dham, he has strengthened the Institute's commitment to coordinate the spiritual phenomena of yoga with modern science. He has served as the convener, nodal officer, and member of various committees of the Government of India and Maharashtra on wellness, naturopathy, Ayurveda, and yoga. He has been the member of the Interministerial Committee for IDY, which is International Day of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, and a board member to promote wellness and create a national grid for Ayush Niti Aayog, apart from being an advisory boards of various educational institutions. He is an acclaimed speaker and at international conferences on yoga, and also serves as the honorary vice president of the Indian Yoga Association. He is deeply passionate about enhancing the quality of life holistically and has thus devoted his life to Kaivalya Dham since 1997. So, Subodhji Tiwari, I have no words. Your dedication, your commitment to the cause of yoga is paramount. And I think you'll have recently also gone in with the tie-up with Rhythm Lonavala, which is yet another step forward to help common people like me understand yoga better in different environments. Subodhji, Thank you so much for being part of this panel today. Gitika Sharma, Senior General Manager, Strategic Planning and Partnerships of CGH Earth Wellness. She is an artist, designer, and a yoga therapist. Gitika Sharma grew up in a family with a deep spiritual tradition and interest in alternate healing. Her initiation into yoga happened at the early age of 10 at her grandmother's yoga classes. How interesting is that? And in years to come, she pursued the practice of alternative healing sciences under her mother's tutelage. Oh my God, it runs in the family, Gitika. I completely understand this. This passion is from the age of 10, Gitika. I get it. An avid practitioner of Vipassana, she began learning yoga under the tradition of Guru BKS Iyengar. On a quest for deeper spiritual understanding, she met Swami Niranjana Saraswati. Niranjanada Saraswati, my apologies, at the School of Yoga. In the summer of 2011, the experience deepened her awakening and thus began the process of moving from the yoga mat into the open doors of the mind. That's beautiful. Gitika continues to train and research at the Bihar School of Yoga and is dedicated to the tenets of Swami Satyananda Saraswati. Today, with her collective experience, Gitika is now the Senior General Manager for Strategy Planning and Partnerships at CGH Earth since 2018. And she believes in the thought that the boat is safe at the harbor, but that isn't the purpose of the boat. So true, Gitika. We have to shake the boat. We have to shake some minds to get into better wellness. Mahendra Vakharia, Managing Director, Pathfinders Holidays Private Limited, based out of Ahmedabad. Fun-loving, adventurous, and outdoor person, he walked the planet 56 years ago. He enjoys traveling, reading, listening to TEDx talks, making friends. He completed his company secretaryship from Anna University, combined it with the Diploma of Hospitality from IHMCTA in Mumbai, and he used this to his full advantage to create and curate very interesting luxury holiday experiences for his clients. He's a self-made entrepreneur and started his company 22 years ago, along with his wonderful wife, Maitri. Together, they are a force to be reckoned with and a super team. He has a vast experience over 30 years in Indian hospitality, travel, national, international. And he's worked with leading five-star brands, then finally with Sriraj Travels, before he moved on his own mission. He has traveled the length and breadth of the country, internationally as well, and with his wealth of experience, he is somebody who creates the most well-defined holidays for his clients. He's part of the executive committee of OTOI, which is the Outbound Tour Operators Association, and the immediate past president of OTOI. He successfully, this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, he successfully scaled and summited Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain of Africa. And it is definitely one of his greatest high points of life. He is very happy to be on this panel. He is extremely happy having his parents, his family with him, because he always believed the family is your greatest strength, along with his wife and along with his son. My speaker, last but not the least, and one of the most gorgeous women I've ever met in my life, Naksh Prasad Sachidar, is one of India's most respected travel curators, whose impeccable eye for detail is what makes her stand out, as she brings with her a wealth of knowledge and expertise. She has traveled to over 45 countries, over 2,000 cities, and hence is an authority and master of her craft, undoubtedly Nakshi. She is committed to her profession, and her mantra is very clear. And she always says that to me on our private chats, that I can present only what I firmly endorse to my clients. I cannot sell anything to them that I do not believe in, is her mantra. Creating atypical and well-defined itineraries is her forte, and she invests the time in first understanding her clients' tastes and temperaments. She has a long-standing relationship with the travel industry, her career spanning over 2 decades with companies such as Thomas Cook, Mercury Travels, to finally commence on her own journey with Naksri, creating special memories as the chief happiness officer. Chief happiness officer is a beautiful tag that she gives herself because she says happiness is the key to all your problems. Be happy and you're sorted. Nakshri is a postgraduate with a distinction in biochemistry and microbiology from the University of Mumbai. She is a writer, speaker, trainer, avid reader, shopper, and traveler. When she's not traveling and training, she loves spending time with her son, who's all of 16, and her husband. She's a linguist and has a proficiency in 5 languages. Ladies and gentlemen, with this kind of a panel, with such august people, I don't want to spend any more time, but get bang into the discussion. Get Mr. Venkatesh here. So one simple question to you. India tourism needs brains and well conceptualized policies that the government India can do for wellness. The private and the public sector together can work on a PPP model successfully. Mr. Venkateshan, can you please share with our audience what's the future of India tourism in the wellness space 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, good evening to everybody. Ms. Rima Lokesh and the esteemed panel and all the participants. I thank Ms. Rima for inviting me for this special session. In fact, the title was something very engrossing, decoding wellness and a look within. And the word look within was something which really struck. And I thought today it is just not the physical wellness, but it's also the emotional wellness or the emotional quotient, which is quite important. And happiness is all about your emotional wellness. So given that India is the kind of the mind for the emotional wellness, deep rooted in our spiritual practices and spirituality, there are people coming for searching. So combined with physical wellness and emotional wellness, India will always be a kind of place sought out by all the seekers for happiness and wellness. Having said this, the Ministry of Tourism has rightly identified the wellness tourism as one of the niche tourism products, and it has been kind of been promoted as a big USP of the Indian tourism offerings. In fact, the India Tourism Ministry of Tourism has issued guidelines for promotion of wellness as a niche tourism product, and these guidelines address various issues like making available quality publicity material, training, capacity building, participation in international fairs, etc. So in order to provide a very dedicated institutional framework to take forward the cause of promotion of medical tourism, wellness tourism and yoga, Ayurveda, etc., including the Indian system of medicine, the Ministry of Tourism also constituted a national medical wellness and tourism board with the chairman as the tourism minister himself. And the board works as an umbrella organization that promotes the segment of tourism in an organized manner. Now, coming to the support in terms of PPP or in kind of marketing to the practitioners of wellness and promoters of wellness, the ministry also provides financial assistance under the Market Development Assistance Scheme to approved wellness centers, that is, representatives of wellness centers accredited by NABH or the state governments. And this assistance is for participation in wellness tourism fairs, wellness conferences, wellness road shows, etc. Beside this, the government also promotes medical health tourism, including promotion in the overseas markets through road shows, participation in travel marts, production of brochures, etc. In fact, the yoga day is something which we also very proactively promote, and this year it was mostly virtual, but we have always invited the opinion makers, media from overseas, the yoga teachers, yoga institutes to come and experience our product. So it's a continuous kind of activity for us when it comes to promoting and positioning India as a wellness destination. And as I said, as this is one of the biggest USPs for India, it is going to be the future in the coming days, especially post-COVID, when people are looking at various solutions primarily for both for the mind and for the body. Thank you again for this. And once if there are any questions later, it can be emailed to me or anything addressed. Send an email which I can clarify later and send it across. Once again, thank you for your time and having me here in this session.
Thank you, Mr. Venkat. The only question, of course, will come is together, as I said, the synergy of the PPP model, like you've actually tour operators coming together, government, they're coming together, so much of promises, but let's now start hitting the nail and getting post-COVID 2021. I think let's together work as a team and really, and it's an appeal, please, let's save tourism. It's important. It's so important to be there for tourism, all of us together.
Absolutely. The first step would be primarily to map all the wellness centers, which can be kind of really put in one platform and taken out, and so that people have some information which is authentic and which they can really trust. Today there are so many things mushrooming across, so we need to have something which can be mapped, and at least for the western region, I can start as a pilot, and I will, of course, Subodh is there here in Lonavala. I'll connect with him and we'll come up with some platform, some methodology where at least we document the authentic and accredited institutions, so that people know where to go if they're searching for such kind of institutions.
Beautiful. I thank you for using the word accredit, because it's so important, because we need to control even the fly-by-night operators in this space. So yes, you've got the right partnerships. If Mr. Subodhji can support this whole culture of getting wellness in the right spirit with the government of India, what more? My mission as a catalyst works well. Mr. Venkatesh, thank you so much, Mr. Venkatesan. I know you have to leave, so respect your time. And once again, thank you very, very much.
Yes, thanks again, everybody.
Thank you. So, as we move on, I can see, I've already started seeing questions coming in. Oh my God. So I love this. Thank you so much, my audience, which has been so different and which has been so positive. I think wellness just calms you down, just brings the energy up. I bring in Gitika, I bring in you into this conversation with this very clear thought. COVID has given us a nice slap on our face. I would call it that. A happy slap saying, hey guys, wake up. It took us away. It changed our concept of life and living. Gitika, today, wellness is definitely not an option. It's an obligation. How do you see this whole transformation in the post-COVID world, Gitika? Because you started your life as a yogi from the age of 10. Over to you, Gitika.
So thank you so much, Reema, and thank you, Nagashri, for introducing me to this lovely person that Reema is, that I have known very recently. Yes, it is an obligation now. In fact, I think, yeah, you're right. COVID has turned it into an obligation, something which was supposed to be a responsibility. Wellness was something that we should have done purely out of responsibility for ourselves, for our mind and body. COVID has taught us that, oh, all right, now this is not a choice, it's not an option anymore. We live in such a constant world of stimulation, engagement, and noise that it is important. And given the point that we eat poorly and we do not have, none of the people I know around me have a great sleep pattern or has a very great, recovery pattern in terms of their daily lives. So hence taking a wellness break is very important for this complex yet very delicate cellular system and structure that we are. I personally felt all my life, well, calling me a yogi since the age of 10 is a very big claim, but yes, my parents did take me to ashrams and yoga schools, and I realized at a very young age that one of the best way to inculcate the culture of wellness in your life is through travel. So recognizing your temperament, that what you like to do for yourself is very important. That's the first step, and that's where wellness facilitators help you in recognizing that. And then to take yourself to a wellness center, to travel is one of the best ways, whether you pick a yoga school to travel, an ashram, a wellness resort, or you are a kind of person who has already awakened to the importance of detoxing yourself at the deepest level by choosing NABH accredited spaces to do the needful. So yes, I do hope that people awaken and we do not go back and slip back into our into our habits of abusing ourselves, because the human body, by the grace of God, has been designed in a way which can take a lot of abuse. But it is my appeal, in fact, to everybody to start seeking wellness. And I do believe that travel agents, people who are in the travel fraternity, selling these products, like Nagashri is herself quite actively into seeking wellness herself, and as she says, she doesn't recommend anything unless she really believes in it. So the one condition of selling wellness is that you will have to be a seeker yourself. You can't speak about it, you can't do justice to it unless you seek it yourself. And I hope the world has awakened, because the lockdown has given us enough and more opportunity to join so much content, so many yoga classes, so many online courses. So thankfully, I do see a shift in the global consciousness, as I would put it. I do see a very strong shift happening. And I hope wellness rises, things that we were supposed to be doing and not being taken for granted. They shouldn't have been taken for granted. I think they have been abused too long. And we shouldn't wait for the next virus to hit us to get into this discipline. Sooner better than later, I think. So yes, I do hope it happens.
Yes. So Geetika, you made a very pertinent point here. You said that, it's an awakening, and we should not now slip back. As a human race, we should not slip back. And as you said, your wellness journey is your own wellness journey. We're not here to compare that. How are you better than I am? If you've started somewhere, so be it.
So be it, yes. So I definitely, that's what I said. You recognize your temperament. And as I said, which I really strongly believe, that not because I'm from the travel world today, this is not the reason I say so. I speak from my experience of my upbringing and the way I have lived my life, that if you travel to a place which helps you inculcate this discipline, whether that is a discipline of seeking silence, or seeking a detox, or seeking an environment which will give you some good food and take you away from, unfortunately, social media for a little while and cut down your hours on screen. It's very important to do, because sleep and the normal cleansing procedures of the body are not enough to feel sane and mentally stable anymore. So yes, so travel is one of the best ways to find your temperament and find a place to go. And nothing is, you're right, there is no judgment as to who is better, whether I am an active wellness seeker or am I an advanced wellness seeker and somebody's a beginner. Well, it's not a judgment. Wherever you are, so be it. There is always an option for you.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Geetika. I get you. I hear you. Because as a layperson, as a layman, I think we all start with this concept of wellness saying spas or Ayurveda. That's the first thing that hits you. It's about massages and spas. But I know, after I've spoken to Subodhji, and after I've spoken to you just a few days ago, my personal concept of wellness has changed. Trust me. I mean, I now realize that what we thought wellness is may not be just only, it goes beyond just the spas. So Subodhji, I would like to bring you in here, please.
So when I came to dream about the wellness travel industry 2 years back, I often heard this debate that, wellness is beyond spa, wellness is beyond spa. And my point was that it doesn't need to be beyond spa. Even if it starts at a spa, what's wrong with that? If you are on a table for 1 hour, if you have to put your phone down and put your screen away for 1 hour, and somebody starts to manipulate your hydraulic fluid system that we are, if somebody starts to manipulate that through a process, organized systematic process inspired and taken by an old science like Ayurveda, I see no harm in it. Not everybody is prepared to commit to the time that a serious detox or under Ayurveda is asking for. So if you do not have the luxury of that time, you have the time to only get away for 2 days or 3 days to an environment which is more quieter, which will offer you an option of going to a digital detox and give you some massages to relax your muscles down and your mind consequently. I see no harm in starting at that point as well. I think it is as much wellness as anything else is. So I do kind of somewhere secretly and now quite openly disagree to the fact that we need to go beyond the spa. Please start with the spa and it will take you further. Start somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. So as I said, it's not a judgmental journey. We all are journey. Whether I start from this spa, my understanding just 10 days ago was just, okay, wellness spa or whether, but you're saying justified, Rima, you're okay, you're on the right spot is what you're saying as well.
Yes, I totally believe
Thank
in it.
you.
Like if somebody comes to the yoga mat for only the asanas, we don't reject them, right? We don't say yoga is beyond asana. Asana is also yoga. It's the same logic, I think. Spa is also Ayurveda, probably.
Subodhji, you are a force to be reckoned with in this yoga industry. Literally, you have been a part of Ayush, you've been a part of the ministry panel, you've been a part of International Yoga Day with the Government of India. Subodhji, when you started your journey in your own Kaivalya Dham,
5 o'clock.
what was it about wellness? What is it that you really want to share with my audience? What's the real crux of wellness? Because that question has to come to you as an expert. Please.
Thank you, Rima, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
I come from an institution which has a long history of 9 decades. So essentially the tradition and the science. So when you look at wellness, I say the wellness is a broad spectrum. And under wellness, you have the aspect of prevention, and then the other aspect of the curative or condition management. Okay? So the broad spectrum, and then in it are these inbuilt paradigms. I look at these systems as once providing you the opportunity for a continued well-being, which is very essential. And therefore, like we were having discussion, journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And that is what we should do with our own seeking. And start that first step, let it be a spa, let it be an institution. And once we start that journey, depending on the experiences which we have, definitely we will evolve into liking what we are doing and experiencing, because these are experience-based interventions. So for example, we are a traditional ashram, but we realize that we need to also cater to people, probably, whose basic need would be more than an ashram. And they would also like to go into that journey, but they want to take that first step. And that's where we tied up with Rhythm, which was offering good opportunity in terms of residential facility. The Puritan aspect of yoga, naturopathy, and Ayurveda was here. So a good synthesis to go ahead.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you are very clear on this thought that, as also Gitika said, let's begin somewhere. All of us, please, let's begin somewhere. Where we are in our journey is your own little problem. But the fact that you felt from an ashram to even go on to tie up with the resort, to grab the common man into the fold and introduce him in the most beautiful way, is a mission accomplished for you, yeah. Subodhji. Subodhji, I would like to take you a step further. You've heard the government of India gentleman just speak, and he's very keen to bring this very sensitive aspect of credibility in the business of wellness. Can you throw some light on how, as a wellness expert, the word credibility in wellness, please?
I think that's a very important point. I just came back from Rishikesh, and it seems you have more teachers in Rishikesh than students. So what you were saying is true. Fly-by-night operators, and the element of credibility could be gotten, and there are a lot of efforts being done even from the Ministry of Ayush. We have set in we started with the Quality Council of India, then we have the Yoga Certification Board now, just trying to establish that there is authenticity to these establishments, because that experience is carried forward by the people who are coming there for experiences. So, if you are looking at promoting India as a wellness hub, and the people coming from various countries who are visiting you for that purpose, it is important that the quality of what you're giving them is determined in a certain way. And this is an effort which was needed to be done earlier, but at least we are doing it now, because there is no accreditation which exists right now, which existed say 2 years ago for places of yoga institutions or Ayurved, Ayurvedic, I wouldn't say hospital, but healthcare setups. So it is important. The work is almost, it's at a good speed. The formal part of all drafting and everything is concluded, and we are on the way. We need to make more people aware of these dimensions and adopting these accrediting standards. And I think we'll be well off.
Yeah. So you're very clear that this is a very critical point of that which I just brought out.
Yes,
and
very important.
address this seriously. Sure. My next discussion actually goes on to the fraternity themselves. India's tour operators. Today we are all in it together. They are my friends. I've worked with them. There's a perspective they want to share. They want to say that, tour operators cannot be ignored because in this whole journey, travel and tourism needs to survive. Nakshi Prasad Sashidhar, I bring you in here. As a tour operator who curates fine, well-defined, eye for detail holidays, where do you see the India picture as a tour operator when you're going to sell wellness, Nakshi? Thank you.
Well, I think, Rima, the moment you talk about, a holiday, and that's what, I've been doing forever, curating holidays for clients. I just feel that the moment you talk about, a holiday, it's all about, the first thought that comes to mind is pleasure, because you are talking about a pleasure trip, correct? You're just kind of letting your head down and you want to let all your worries aside and you want to have a great time. Now, I know I promised myself that I was not going to talk about COVID, but I have to because I think that's very important, especially in the present context. And the reason being that, the adage which we've always been hearing, health is wealth, I think cannot be truer than now. Because the amount of, I think a person actually, you should have an index which, really rates the person based on, not on monetary wealth, but on your health. And I think that is very important because you need to be completely on top of things if you want to really achieve anything. So if you don't have health, there is nothing really that you can achieve. And I also feel somewhere that the moment, a person talks about wellness, it's kind of a very ironical situation because automatically a lot of people tend to relate wellness to the loss of pleasure because it's discipline, correct? And the moment you talk about discipline, automatically in your mind, you think that, oh my gosh, now we are, we have to follow a disciplined model, which is equal to the loss of pleasure, which is so incorrect because, when you're on this little adventure of finding yourself, and I think wellness is all about, rediscovering yourself. It is something that you owe it to you because there is nothing else. You can't really expect anybody to present wellness to you. It has to come from within. Yeah, it's got to be a dawning and it has to be something that you kind of completely believe in. Because if you don't believe in, kind of wanting to give back to yourself, we can kind of have discussions like this and, it just, the person really doesn't kind of understand what we're trying to say. So like Gitika said, you've got to make the first step. So the moment a person is willing to enter a spa, the person mentally has promised himself or herself that yes, she is or he is going to be on this journey and there is no looking back. And that's exactly what I think we as curators have the pleasure of doing because it is so important and now more so because you are going to have so many people, loosely using the word wellness, loosely using the word yoga, and it's so important that you need to kind of really be able to tell the client what is good, what is not, because it is your health at the end of the day. It is your body. It is your life. Now, when clients come to me and they say that, you know what, Nakshi, we want to go on an adventure trip. We want to do a bungee jump or we want to do a skydive. You're talking about the moment a person starts talking about discounting in terms of pricing. Now, you're talking about a skydive, which is either you make it or you don't. So the moment you are on an adventure, you cannot bring discount into the picture because it is your life. So you are talking about a person who is got his insurance in place, who's got all the, the factors that go into making a safe adventure trip successful in place. So similarly, I would kind of probably use wellness akin to adventure because it is an adventure you're embarking on. it is an adventure where you're rediscovering yourself, and you've got to do it damn well right. Because the moment you slip and you go to a place which is kind of not telling you the right things to do, well, you've started off on, on a footing that you don't want to start off on. And it's just kind of going to go all awry, and it's not going to kind of give you the results that you really want. It's not going to take you on an honest, adventurous trip. So very important. And, when you're talking about wellness places, whether it's within the country or whether it's outside the country, I think it's very important, just like how sustainability should be woven into every itinerary or every holiday. I think wellness is something that, any step, whether it could be a mere spa, it could be a massage, it could be probably a proper, serious, wellness, place that you're going to. But I think it's very important that we owe it to ourselves to inculcate that right from a, young age. And now I think there's also, a huge opportunity for well-established, wellness places to also try and get the youngsters into its fold and start programs for youngsters as well, because I see a lot of people who probably would be, middle-aged or in their early 30s, and they want to go to a wellness place, but they don't know what to do with the kids. So I think, there's a huge opportunity there where we start young so that the entire generation next is already into this, and they're not kind of wondering, oh my gosh, now, it's too late now. Can we really start? Well, there is no age. You can start when you're ready, but it's always better to really start young so that your body is acclimatized and you're kind of in the groove. And I think coming to operators and curators like ourselves just kind of makes it so much more meaningful, because we know exactly what we kind of, telling clients, because we've already sifted off the best from the rest. And it's just kind of so much more easier for us to marry the right client to the right product, because not everybody may require a massage. So we actually kind of go through the entire psyche of the person and understand what the person wants. And it's a lot more than just booking a hotel. Well, it's not, because wellness is a hugely different concept. And it's very important for us to understand what the client wants and give him, what really he really requires.
So very interestingly, in fact, you've touched upon two questions which were right here in front of me. One is, the 40s and the generation who are in the 40s, the sandwich generation, as we call them. You have the senior citizens at one side, we have our kids on the other side. We want to kind of really do something with wellness, but as you said, where do we leave them? But you said that it's okay. Maybe there are some places where you can curate holidays for them as well. And you also made an interesting point about discounting. You said sometimes you can't negotiate with price. Because one question I had is from an audience saying, how are price points in wellness spas and resorts? Price points, and how do we take price points in the question of that? But you've addressed that. You've also said that in certain aspects there cannot be discounting. Because if you're expecting quality, you're paying for that for your own healing. Is clearly what is something that you just mentioned, actually.
Absolutely. Because, like I always tell people that, you've got to decide where you're going. So it could be probably a wellness resort. It could be a wellness hospital. It could be a wellness clinic. So it's all very, very scientifically kind of, whether it's naturopathy, are you talking about Ayurveda? So there are too many, kind of contexts here. And it's very important to really sit down and decide with the client what really he or she, requires before we just kind of shoot off the cuff and say that, listen, this is where you could go. So similarly, like I said, within the country, we've got heaps of places which are extremely kind of, have already touched upon what we really want. And they have mastered the art of, kind of giving back to clients. So similarly, when you're talking about places abroad, be it Spain or be it Japan or be it, probably even Austria for that matter, there are clinics where a person can go to either kind of go to a medical clinic, or you could go to probably to just a resort where you're chilling and enjoying yourself. So it's all up to what, the client really wants, whether, within the country, we're talking about some fantastic places down in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu, where you've got places like, the CGH properties like Swaswara, which is again a resort. So your kids are most welcome there. And I'm sure they're going to kind of change things post-COVID as well to make sure that kids will still be welcome. Or you could talk about some really serious stuff like Prakriti, Shakti and places like that. Or you could even talk about Swatma. So there are heaps of places that we can really kind of talk about once the client really approaches us. And I think that's where curators play a very, very important role, and more so for wellness.
Actually, I'm getting interesting answers saying that thank you. Tour operators are feeling happy that you've touched the point of discounting from clients.
Absolutely,
So I'm
absolutely.
getting questions right here.
Awesome.
Mahendra, you have been someone who has already got into selling wellness. You told me in the sidelines that wellness is nothing new for Pathfinders because you had clients coming to you religiously saying, one wellness holiday in a year, banta hai, is what you clearly told me.
Correct.
You took this journey. I know you also did your bit on World Yoga Day with Ananda in the Himalayas. Can you share with my audience, Mahendra, what is the standpoint that you do vis-a-vis your clients? You're in Ahmedabad, we all know, but you have global clients. As a tour operator, where is your sense? What is it that you bring on the table saying, hey, wellness, and this is the way forward? Over to you, Mahendra.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and a pleasure being part of this panel. The pandemic has definitely made us realize a lot of things. And one of the most important things that we have realized is health. Everything against health has been completely zero. The best of the houses, the best of the assets that you could have owned, when your health was targeted and attacked, it came to a complete standstill. More so now than ever before, I'm sure more and more people are going to be mindful and aware of being healthy and mindful of living a life which is synergizing the various nature, harmony with nature, with environment, bringing your body, mind and soul or spirit together. It's a very vast word, wellness, when we use it today. Most of it, or initiation, has been like Geetika also initiated, and Nakshi did mention, it started with a spa, and there is nothing wrong in enjoying a spa. That is the initiation. Like Mr. Tiwari said, 1,000 miles of journey starts with the first step. Wellness first step is a spa treatment that you start enjoying, getting involved into it, because there is a mindset still existing that wellness is discipline. Okay, there is discipline, of course, is if you want to achieve something beneficial to you, for your mind, for your body, for your soul, for your spirit, for your well-being, you will have to do a little bit of a disciplined lifestyle that you will have to inculcate. So people are getting more and more mindful and aware of it. We have had the blessing and opportunity of arranging wellness holidays for our clients to some of the very premium resorts that India has. As we mentioned, Ananda in the Himalayas to Swasara in Goa, and CJH has got, they are one of the torchbearers for wellness in India in the way they do it, both encompassing the Ayurvedic based wellness treatments, what they have, the proper pure treatments, as well as yoga, meditation, and just well-being of the body. So there are some beautiful resorts that we have in India, and those who can afford, they've also gone out of India to Badragas in Switzerland, and Lanzasas in Austria, and in Spain has also got a couple of very nice properties. But people are getting more and more aware of it. Close by Shivasom in Thailand, people are wanting to take a holiday, come and experience wellness, and it could be targeting weight reduction, it could be just detoxification, rejuvenation, whatever, but they want to get involved into this. And I think this 5 months would help a lot to this industry. And I remember about a year back, I think if I'm right, Geetika, when she was in Ahmedabad and doing a presentation, and she gave some very, very, very interesting figures. You'll be surprised as the size of the wellness industry is almost touching what GDP, what is the size of economy that India is talking of. It's almost touching $5 trillion US, worldwide. Now that's a huge industry, And that also made me start and realize and focus more and more on wellness to see how we can curate programs, offer it to the clients, and bring them into this concept of, becoming and enjoying, starting to live a healthy lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle is extremely very critical right now. When we have to be focused, the lifestyle that we have been living pre-COVID is, dictated by technology, digitally connected, so much of stress, lack of sleep, sleep disorders, and the chronic diseases that we have accumulated, like, blood pressures, cardiac problems, asthma, whatnot, all these are related somewhere to what we have been doing as part of our lifestyle. These 5 months have definitely given us an opportunity. And like the other panelists said, wellness starts from within us. It's a feeling. It's a feeling which and you have to be mindful of what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're living. It's not only doing your yoga and you feel you've done your wellness. No, that is not it. It's a complete package of your mind, body, and soul coming together, where you start incorporating all this to realize that you have done spent a very good day enjoying a healthy lifestyle. But coming back to the commercial side of it, for us, it's a new vertical, but it's a very exciting vertical, and there is a huge opportunity that we are doing, and we are promoting it a lot to our clients. We have certain clients who are targeted, who are very excited and who are definitely keen to travel every year. Some of them are doing 2 holidays a year for wellness, and so we are very, very happy to be in this zone.
That's amazing, Mahendra, because as you also reiterated the fact that it starts from your own inner journey. And yes, you've said your clients are ready, and you are also ready to match the right fit to the right person. As Nakshi also always says, that the marriage is so important. You can't sell anything to anybody. I get it. We are exactly at a point where I just want to do a quick round of questioning with my panelists before there are audience questions coming up, and I really want to at least respect 5 questions. Subodhji, I just want to bring you in on this point here. Are you with us, Subodhji?
Yes.
Fantastic. 2021, the journey with Kaivalyadham, how do you see it with certain target audience? I personally feel the young mind is a very vibrant mind, and talking to teens is so critical. So do you think is there a certain wellness journey that you're looking with demography and also with certain target markets, please?
Well, you rightly said, the youngsters today they need that immersion, they need the exposure. So what we have done and what we think 2021 is about, we have initiated, a program online called Yoga for Young Minds. What that does is it at least initiates, it starts the ball rolling in the minds of these youngsters who are there. And, like you were discussing about places which are open for probably kids or youngsters. And so places which welcome all generations, do a lot of good to inculcating these value into youngsters just by observation, because that is the best way of learning. They observe and then they want to follow it. But I think even it's a month and a half since we have opened up, we have seen a lot of youngsters coming in. I think 60% of people out of 200 people who have visited us last 45 days, I wouldn't hesitate, it's more than 60% people are less than 35 years of age. So I see that a lot of this generation is going to take up this as their priority. And we need to ensure, as people from the domain expertise, that we need to make it relevant to them to ensure that they get what they are looking for, in terms of the experience of understanding, in terms of the experience through practices, in terms of physical, mental, emotional, and to an extent, spiritual well-being.
Wonderful. So Subodhji, very clearly, focus for the future is on educating the youth, giving them the platform to understand yoga better. And most importantly, you're saying, you actually gave us statistics. You're saying since 1.5 months, you're getting that kind of an audience to you. That is brilliant.
That's true.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. There are questions for you, Subodhji. I will just come back. There's 4 audience questions already lined up for you. I'm just going to get to Gitika. Gitika, 2021 for CGH Earth. Is there a new game plan in your head, keeping in mind post-COVID, please? or COVID. I mean, sorry, it's nothing like post-COVID.
Yeah, we are not in post-COVID yet. Well, the game
Exactly.
plan is that we are venturing into online consultations. We already have opened the entry of children to Swasthira because we realize that it's not fair now in these times to keep the children away from that place. The parents want the kids to be accompanied to Swasthira. So yes, keeping the business aspect, the practicality of it, and not also, it's true, I have to be honest, we didn't wish to refuse anyone coming to us. So we did open our gates to kids at Swasthira. About that, we are discussing some new programs at our hospital, Kalri Rasayana, which I can't reveal right now because we are still in the discussion stage. But yes, our online consultation program is already floating, in the sense we are already ready with it, and within a week or two we should be good to declare it, because we understand that now it will take, no matter how much we assure ourselves and others, it might take a little while for the international audience to feel the confidence to take a long flight, fly down and come here. And well, even for domestic audience, they will look at traveling short distances and taking the time, looking at the economic structure also of the country. Today, people are very sensitive in their pockets. Their financial situation also is a consideration. We didn't want anything to be, we did want a product which can be easily accessible to all and shouldn't come across too expensive and pricey. So we did go online. That's our next game plan for CGH Earth Wellness, that we will be doing consultations and programs online for naturopathy and Ayurveda. And of course, in time, as we are ready to declare this, we will talk more about it. But yes, this is done. We are ready with the online consultations. So
it's very interesting that, you know, products like Kavalyadham, products like CGH Earth and other, y'all are all ready. It's such a positive feeling. You're saying that it's all right, COVID, no COVID. We are having a certain path very clear. We're ready. We're ready to give you the right kind of wellness, authentic, to the core, to your own liking. Thank you, Gitika. Thank you. Thank you for giving me so much more confidence today that, you know, it's possible. Nakshri and Mahendra, you know, you all have been so vibrant within the tour operators fraternity. How do you guys see 2021 individually? If you all can really tell me, vis-a-vis wellness, vis-a-vis this whole journey of taking your clients from point A to point B, please. Maybe Nakshri, you can start, and you know, it's your tour operator's perspective for 2021 and beyond.
Well, I think, Rima, at this point, you know, nobody has a crystal ball. All we're going to kind of talk about is, and debate about, is what we think, you know, where we're headed. Considering that, you know, one thing for sure, yeah, and there's absolutely no debate when it comes to that, is that wellness is here to stay. Yeah, so that we are very clear about, you know, in terms of what the new trends are going to be, because everybody wants to know what the trends are. But, you know, probably we wouldn't know what the trends going forward are, but two trends that, you know, come out very, very clearly. One is about wellness, because like I said, you know, health is important and you owe it to yourself. So everybody is going to get so much more serious about wellness, and that's where we need to be very careful, you know, because we've got a lot of people talking about immunity drinks, we've got a lot of people talking about wellness. So yes, wellness is something which is going to kind of stay. And two is going to be sustainability. So you're talking about how are we going to give back to nature? How are we going to give back to the community? How are we going to kind of take all of these experiences forward? People are going to veer away from the main cities. They're going to get away into the countryside. They're going to get away into open spaces. They're going to get away into places where they can breathe. Because I think now the connotation of luxury completely changes. Luxury now would be just to be able to breathe fresh air, to be able to walk without your shoes on, to be able to just kind of sit in a quiet place and take in the environs. I think all of that is going to be luxury more than anything else. So when you're talking about wellness, so therefore your connotation of wellness along with sustainability, you know, is very hand in hand. So you're talking about a whole lot of places which, you know, you're going to actually kind of put together an experiential package where you're going to talk about wellness, which is the hero. And along with that, you're going to talk about experiences around it, around the place. So if I'm in a place which is, in Tamil Nadu, for example, I would probably talk about what I can do around there. So if I'm going to Coimbatore and from there I'm going to one of the places that, the fantastic CGH Earth have, or if I'm going to Swatma in Tanjore. So, you have a lot of things that you can do around it. So experiences, so experiential holidays, which always was there, is going to continue into 21, of course. But along with that, a huge focus on wellness, on health, on what you can do to enrich yourself and come back, healthier, and how you like our, which probably a lot of us haven't been to. So I think places like that will be, the gems in 21 going forward, and places like this will get its spot in the entire itinerary planning that we curators would do. And I think that's very, very exciting for us, because it's new. At the same time, it's revisited again. So everything's back on the map. And I think that is something we're really looking forward to in 21.
Very interestingly, Nakshi, you've actually answered one audience question that came in. There was an interesting audience question saying, how can we match domestic travel to linking wellness to rural ecotourism, rural adventure tourism, hygienic, safe environment journeys, and tourism to the India's domestic market. You've said it. You actually mentioned that, it's possible that we need to match wellness with what's around you and the surrounding, which is so interesting.
Which is true, Rima, because the moment you talk about,
Yes.
you talk about wellness, and you're talking about places where these wellness resorts or retreats or clinics or hospitals are, they are not in your cities mainly, right? So the moment you talk about all of these places which are tucked away in these really nice environs around, which are so kind of clean and fresh, automatically they are using people in the community. So therefore, it automatically kind of dovetails with your ecotourism, with your sustainable tourism. So all of that, comes together. So you've got this very, very robust, healthy, and really rich package here, which I think all of us, it kind of completely ticks off your guilt-free holiday. So you can actually have a guilt-free holiday where you know where your last buck is going. It's going back to environment, it's going back to society, it's going back to community. And I think that is very important. And I hope and pray that, COVID has taught all of us this.
Yes, absolutely. And you're marrying wellness very well with sustainability and responsible tourism, as we call it. Yeah, beautiful. Mahendra, your word on, this whole concept, and how do you see it? Firstly, as of course, as pathfinders, but also as a tourism expert. 2021 as a tour operator, please.
Like Nakshi has said, she has explained it very well. What I would like to add on to that is, as a tour operator, where I'm seeing that I'm being an outdoors person, I personally feel, and the way the life has been impacted in those 5 months, people have become very mindful of health. Active holidays are going to be more in demand. People are going to prefer to be in places which is going to give them that opportunity of being outdoors with the nature, doing some physical activity, which is also part of your well-being and wellness or health, as you would call it, and enjoy the pristine nature that it offers you. Because and thankfully, even in India, the bigger cities definitely had a bigger challenge of COVID, whereas the rural places, and this year UNWTO has said it is going to be development of rural tourism. So I think there is a huge potential within our own country to develop rural tourism, which is going to be one more trend that, it's all collaborating with your sustainability, your responsible tourism, which has been part of the mantra for the last couple of years, and people are getting more and more aware of it. But the future trend definitely will be targeting, active holidays, being outdoors with the nature, secluded places, not too very crowded, small places, and getting an opportunity doing things which will also collaborate in making them feel that they have enjoyed and contributed to their own well-being and health in terms of activity, in terms of the food. You'll be surprised, Rima, in the last 5 months, and I've had an opportunity of talking to a few very leading doctors of the city of Ahmedabad. They have said that the hospitals in the last 5 months did not see the regular influx of people coming with lifestyle disease like, blood pressure challenges, cardiac challenges, high diabetic patients coming and complaining of, all of a sudden, where did it vanish? It didn't. I mean, either people were mentally of the opinion that there is something wrong with their body, or in the 5 months sitting at home and eating wholesome, healthy, good food of home, did it do the wonders? And they have become aware of this, that there was no need to go to the hospital. All this while they were going and spending money for nothing, kind of. So this kind of a situation where a small boutique property like Siswasara, you come, relax for 4 days, do nothing, just enjoy the beach, do a bit of yoga, meditation, eat some very good, fresh, farm to the table kind of food. And you also feel happy because me and Nakshi always will be talking over, sorry, it will be a repetition because it's sustainability, responsible, and adding up to the rural tourism, because everything that we do, the funnel has to be inward directed to the community that has to develop with it in that area. If that happens, and that will happen with the tourism that we want to promote, that will be a win-win for all of us.
No, I get it. And as you clearly said, what happened to all our so-called urban illnesses? They've not vanished, but I think we've just realized that, and I could see Subodhji smiling there when Mahendra mentioned that, kya ho gaya? What happened when doctors in Ahmedabad said, what happened to my patient? Subodhji, that smile, do you want to kind of give a voice to the smile, please?
A very dear friend of mine was the president of the Association of Indian Physicians, and she told me, most of the problems arise because of our habits, and one of it is, often going out and probably to do with what we eat and how we live. And now once, for the pleasure of the 3 inches of tongue has been, guided nicely by God, saying you stay home, eat home cooked food. And I think that is a major thing which has taken care of a lot of issues which people go or land up in hospital. And of course there are different views, but lifestyle has got regulated in those terms. And then we have been experiencing that throughout these 6 months with interaction with people online.
Yeah, perfect. I know, because I'm so glad you mentioned, because as you say, sustainable tourism, lifestyle, re-engineering of your life, literally. I think that's the word. You just engineer the whole thing right. And, we're exactly into an hour of our discussion now. Just 3 questions, because I really want to respect my audience. So, Boji, the people really want to meet you. I've got messages saying they want to get to Kaivalya Dham, and how do they get to you is they're asking me. I'm surely going to tell them how to. I'm going to give them that, they all know Lonavala. Most of my audience today is obviously probably even a Mumbai or not Mumbai, but they all know Lonavala, and they all want to get to Kaivalya Dham. They really want to understand what Kaivalya Dham is all about. They want to visit your campus, number 1. They want to see the kind of programs that you offer, number 2, and they wanted to say hello to you. There's the one person who's saying, Subodhji, they just want to come and say hello to you because there is some calming effect that you bring to this. All right.
Welcome.
Yeah. There is a question actually to the tour operators. They're very particular, and it's an interesting question, Mahendra and Nakshi. They're saying, we're all talking this for sure, 100%, but is our counter staff, is our tour operator ready to sell wellness, where you're training even the frontliners to sell wellness, right? They're not going to sell the Eiffel Towers of the world anymore. They're selling wellness. So how important it is for us to train the frontliner in the business of travel today, to sell wellness right. Nakshi, you're an expert, but if you want to handhold your junior, what is that one message you want to give them? Mahendra, Nakshi.
Mandy, do you want to go?
Okay, go with it. I thought it's going to be ladies first always, but no.
We'll alternate.
We're very kind, Mahendra. We're very kind.
Thank you. No, so it's first and foremost, as we have spoken, wellness is to start with the individual me, myself first, and it's similarly, even in the office, if we are talking of proposing to promote wellness as a commercial, mindful of it, we'll have to be aware of what wellness is, what wellness encompasses, and what are the possibilities that we can suggest to a client. It's just not randomly that you Google it and they say, okay, wellness, or there is a wellness resort here, you can go here nearby and come back. No, that is not how it is. It is unlike a regular holiday that you would recommend to a client, because this will require a lot of deep research at our end, a lot of understanding at our end, and most critical will be to match the right wellness offering of a product of a resort to the client's need, and there the counter staff will require to be trained in depth about it, which, as I said, this is not something where you can just say, okay, you book a ticket and I'm booking a ticket and giving it to you and it's done. No, it requires more involvement in it. And I think somewhere we as the promoters of the organization, we will have to be very, very thickly involved into the transition of this booking, because everything will not be possible within the realm of the counter staff. It could have its own challenge or limitation to my mind, which I could be wrong. I should be proven wrong, but it's not a simple task of just selling a holiday or a booking. Wellness is to be treated differently, has to be sold differently, and will have to be marketed differently. That's what I believe it will be.
No, I second that completely. It's not about selling brick and mortar. It's
No,
yeah, it is not selling brick and mortar.
No, it's not. It's not at all. In fact, actually, the way I look at wellness is it's a very niche product. It is something which, a person really has to kind of understand in depth. It is not a mass market product. So you've got to have, even if you've got, a kind of, because for curators like ourselves, the setup is quite small. And it just kind of makes it so much easier because we are directly talking to clients. And it's very important then, and I keep kind of telling people in different forums that it is more than anything else when it comes to wellness. I think it's very important to follow the triple B policy. And that's my favorite policy, so I have to talk about it. So, the first B I refer to is your belief. So if you're believing in something, that's what it kind of translates into your behavior. So that's the second B. So you believe in something, you behave in that way, and finally the business comes to you. But when you're talking about wellness, the business can wait. You are first dealing with somebody's life. So it makes it so much more important that, you've got to be completely on top of what you're kind of suggesting to your clients. And you've got to be damn well right in what you're kind of actually telling them to do. So therefore, talking about training your counter staff at length, doing a huge training session, I personally don't think that would work. In this particular case, you've got to pick probably one or two of your counter staff who understand the belief of wellness, and then take them forward and make them champions in kind of leading, the war when it comes to wellness, because it's very, very important that they understand the absolute concept and the nitty-gritties that go into planning this trip for your client. So it's very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because selling a regular hotel, if the client is not happy with the room that we've sold him, we can change the room. But wellness, once we've sold him a package and if it's gone there, there's no way we are going to be able to change it, and it's going to be a disaster. So we got to be extremely very careful and sensitive to the requirement of the client, and then matching it correctly with the product.
And sorry, but I have to bring this point in here. So when you're talking about wellness, it's not like, you're comparing your wellness package price with probably an online package price. It doesn't work that way, because there's just so much more that goes in. For example, a favorite is again, it's a CGH Earth property, the Kalari Kovalakam. Now here you've got the Kalari artists who actually kind of wake up at 4 in the morning, and you see them at the Kalari pits. They are practicing for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, before your clients actually have woken up, just so that they can get in the energies that they can then transfer to your client. Now, all of this is something that is so personal, and that we as curators will talk to clients about and tell them and make them understand that. So I cannot compare a price that I get, which is a 3-night, 4-day price. Of course, when you're staying in places like Kalari, Kovalakam, etc., you kind of log in 14 nights because you're doing a serious kind of a wellness therapy. But, so I cannot compare that with an XYZ online booking site. It just doesn't work. So wellness has to be treated as a different kind of a vertical, and it is something which is very, very scientific. It has to be analyzed. It has to be approached in a scientific manner. And then you're kind of talking to clients and telling them that this is where you need to go. So it's very personal, and that personal connection is very important.
Rima, do I have 1 minute?
Yeah.
1 minute, please.
Sure.
And that's addressed to Mr. Tiwari. Mr. Tiwari, it's a sincere request, and since you're connected with the Ministry, Ayush, and the new program that's coming up, I will sincerely urge if a small curriculum about wellness, about our traditional Ayurveda, which is, the ancient Indian system of, healing and dealing with your mind, body, and soul, if that could be inculcated in the school curriculum at an early stage, and let this generation grow up to understand the values that we have of Ayurveda, even our own backyard, and the importance of it, and it's showing us a way of a healthy lifestyle that we should live. That'll be highly great for us, and that's a sincere request if that could be incorporated.
Two good things have happened. One is the national policy of education throws a lot of emphasis on the Indian system. Secondly, not only schools. Now the good part is, if things go well, the medical courses will have a credit system for the yoga and Ayurveda and Indian system of medicine. So I think they are working in that direction.
Thank you.
So this is a very, very pertinent point. This is news to us. This is news. Great. We're exactly at 17:45. That's 5:45, and I respect time. I had requested for 1 hour 15 minutes. And Gitika, there have been two questions coming to you. They want to know how to get to getting to know more about your packages, and especially the point that you made about online consultancy. There have been 3 questions saying that they want to consult with CGHRs on wellness programs. So I will obviously give you those details. It's my job, it's my duty to connect, because I'm a catalyst here at this platform. So there have been questions for you. They actually want to connect with the concept of CGHR and to know more about your programs. And the same holds true with Kaivalya. And by the end of the day, I think at the end of this beautiful evening, there have been a lot of awakening for me also, because we just realized in this whole journey that wellness is here to stay, and wellness is not negotiable, because it's your body, it's your mind, and it's your spirit. My panelists, I am honored, I'm humbled more so for giving me a 1 hour 15 minutes, because you all are so busy in your respective spaces, and most importantly, you all walk the talk. You genuinely walk the talk. You all are not someone who speaks wellness just for the fashion statement. Another thing is, wellness is very fashionable. Say, I'm a wellness expert, or, I am into yoga. So you'll have your fashion, and I can so see it. Ladies and gentlemen, my super, super into audience, you guys were so good. Thank you so much. Me from Remarkable, please connect with us. It's my sincere effort to bring you quality stories which are just not only newsworthy but noteworthy, and stories of sense and not sensation. Log in, subscribe, and be a part of my journey, and be a part of our journey. Once again, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure, everyone. And